Sears Center Arena throws open its doors as Glory 38 Chicago sweeps into the Windy City. 5 fights, one night with titles, tournaments, and reputations on the line. It's the final face-off for the light heavyweight title as Artem Bakhitov and Salo Cavallari settle their back-and-forth dispute and show once and for all who owns the belt. With one victory apiece, these two fighters have dominated the division. Bakhitov brings the tactics, Cavallari brings the fury, but when it comes to the belt, there can be only one. Plus, Hammerlane, Olunga, and Machado take on the toughest challenge in fight sports as they enter the four-man light heavyweight contender tournament. And hometown hero Richard Abraham returns to Chicago to continue his 4-fight win streak as he campaigns for a title shot. It's Glory 38 Chicago. Expect a hurricane of head kicks, flying knees, and non-stop action in the Windy City tonight as Glory Kickboxing rolls into the Sears Center for Glory 38 Chicago. We kick things off with a four-man light heavyweight contender tournament. A title shot is on the line for the winner, and he will go forward to face the winner of tonight's main event later tonight. In the first semifinal, America's Brian the Lion Collette steps in to replace Zach Mukasa against Zinedine Hammerlane after Mukasa was forced to withdraw for medical reasons earlier today. In the second semifinal, rising Brazilian newcomer Ariel Machado faces the division's former #1, Daniel Olunga, who's coming off the fight of the year in 2016 with Michael Duke in December. The two semifinal winners will meet later in the evening to determine which one of them walks away with a title shot. Chicago's own Richard Maximus Abraham is on home soil in the co-headline fight as he looks to extend his undefeated Glory run to 5-0 when he faces talented newcomer Antoine Pinto, coming to us from France by way of Thailand. And finally, in the main event, light heavyweight champion Artem Bakhitov faces Salo Cavallari, the man he took the title from last year. Expect these two to leave it all in the ring as they battle it out over 5 rounds. This is Glory 38 Chicago. And welcome inside the Sears Center, one of the great fight towns in America, Chicago, Illinois. Todd Grisham alongside Bazooka Joe, Joseph Valtellini, the former Glory welterweight champion of the world. 4 light heavyweight bouts tonight, Joe. What is it about that division that intrigues you the most?
Well, you got to think these guys can move like lightweights and hit like heavyweights, so you can anticipate a lot of good action and possibly a lot of good knockouts.
And we'll find out who the best light heavyweight in the world is today as the light heavyweight champion Artem Bakhitov puts his title on the line against the 4th-ranked fighter in the world, Salo Cavallari.
Artem Bakhitov is one of these fighters that continually gets better. He's put on a dominant performance in his fight at Glory 28 to win the title against Salo Cavallari, and he had a dominant performance over Zach Moicasa at Glory 35, so he has a lot of momentum, showing that he's constantly evolving and getting better. As for his opponent, Salo Cavallari also has an impressive Glory record with only 2 defeats, one coming from his opponent tonight, Artem Bakhitov, and the other Tyrone Spong, so he's motivated to go get his title back.
There is one non-light heavyweight bout tonight. It comes to us from the welterweight division. Antoine Pinto, the much-heralded Muay Thai fighter, makes his debut tonight against Chicago's own Richard Abraham.
You know, we have a lot of people coming to this fight. I think we got 450, 500 people coming. First, my family grew up diehard Cub fan. I was sitting there just drinking Budweisers, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried when they won. It was an amazing moment in history, and I know a lot of people. That touched a lot of people. You know, people have been waiting their whole lives for that moment. So being here in Chicago for this fight is, I mean, it definitely, I think, puts a little more pressure on me. It definitely motivates me more to perform. I got all different walks of life coming, you know, that always cheered me on and support me.
A big crowd here tonight supporting Chicago's own Richard Abraham. Cannot wait to see that fight later here tonight. But for more on our light heavyweight tournament, we send it backstage to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Whitney Miller.
Thank you, guys. That's right. We have a very exciting tournament tonight with 3 of the 4 top-ranked fighters in the light heavyweight division. All of them are powerhouses. I cannot wait for this. Let's check out the brackets. In our first semifinal, we have Brian Collette, who was called in to replace Zach Mukasa earlier today after he was forced to withdraw due to medical issues. And Brian is fighting powerhouse Zinedine Hammer Lane. And in our second semifinal bout, it's between newcomer Ariel Machado and Daniel Ilunga, who had the 2016 Fight of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you guys are very excited. Let's get it started.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside the Sears Center in Chicago, home of the World Series champion Chicago Cubs, where tonight the world's best kickboxers step to the plate to take a swing at some international glory of their own, including 5 rounds for the light heavyweight championship of the world. All of our bouts tonight are under the supervision of the Illinois State Athletic Commission. Their acting director, Nancy Ilg, and their executive manager, Joel Capizano, are with us ringside. Chi-Town Glory fans, are you ready for glory? We begin with the first of 2 tournament semifinals. He last appeared at Glory 32, Virginia. Please welcome back Brian Collette.
There is Brian Collette, ladies and gentlemen. What a day it's been for him. He woke up going to be an alternate in this tournament. He made weight yesterday, but I'm sure it was just kicking back and relaxing. Then he found out that Zach Mukasa had a medical condition that prevented him from fighting tonight. So here he is, Joe, with an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, this is a huge opportunity for him, so he really has to rise to the occasion. Hopefully he was really mentally focused. Even when he's at reserve bout, most of the time, that reserve fighter never gets to come in and has his chance. He has an opportunity to really build himself and could have a future world title shot.
He comes to Chicago, winner of 2 of his last 3 Glory starts. Please welcome Zinedine Hammer Lane.
Going with the piano music, a soothing rendition to get Zinedine Hammer Lane introduced here tonight. He knows all about tournaments, Joe. In fact, he won one last year.
Yeah, he won the Contenders Tournament at Glory 32, where he also won the Fighter of the Night, where he had 2 knockdown wins, one against Ariel Machado and the other against Warren Thompson. But he's coming off of a loss that he really wants to forget about at Glory 35 Nice, where he had a first-round loss against Pavel Zervalev, where he came in very aggressive with his boxing. But in Hammer Lane's mind, that fight never happened.
We tried to get him to talk about it. He didn't want to, Joe. He wants to look forward, and he knows what's on the line tonight. Win this tournament, you're getting a shot at the light heavyweight championship. Here's our tale of the tape, our opening bout in this light heavyweight contender tournament. It's France versus the United States. Zinedine Hammer Lane taking on Brian Collette.
And the biggest difference between this fight with Hammer Lane and Collette is the experience of Hammer Lane. He's been very active in Glory. He's fought big names in the sport already, so it's exciting to see what Collette can do versus the experience of Hammer Lane.
Here are the Glory rules. They will fight 3 3-minute rounds. Punches, kicks, and knees are legal strikes. 2 knockdowns in a round or 3 in the fight of a tournament will result in a technical knockout.
Let's take a look at the judging. Judges will score using the 10-point must system with a focus on knockdowns, followed by damage and clean scoring strikes with an emphasis on spectacular techniques. If there's still no clear advantage, we're looking at aggressiveness.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this light heavyweight contender tournament semifinal is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the black corner, a WKA heavyweight champion making tonight his 7th Glory start. His professional record, 23 wins with 4 losses. 18 of those 24 wins have come by way of knockout. He stands 6 feet 3 inches tall, 1.91 meters, and he weighed in at fight time at an even 208 pounds, 94.3 kilos. Fighting tonight out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, here is Brian the Lion Collette. His opponent standing on my left and fighting out of the white corner, a 2-time European champion and Glory Contender Tournament champion. His professional record, 56 wins with 14 losses, 35 career knockouts. At 6 feet 3 1/2 inches, 1.92 meters. He weighed in at 205 1/2 pounds, 93.2 kilograms. Fighting tonight out of France, it's the good boy, Zinedine Hammerlane. And the third man inside the ropes, your referee, is Dave Smith.
Fighter, step up. Step up. All right, brothers, you guys well know the rules. Good, clean fight, start to finish. Touch him up, step back. Good luck to you both.
All right, Joe. Key to victory for Brian Collette.
Brian Collette really has to go in there and not give Hammerlane too much experience. He does have good combinations and good power. He has a very good high kick, so don't expect Collette to throw a lot of high kicks.
I assume you meant too much respect.
Yeah, you can't give him too much respect.
Brian Collette in the black gloves, Zinedine Hammerlane in the white. So credit to Collette being fight ready. And how about Zinedine Hammerlane? Talk about being thrown a wrench in your game plan. He was expecting to face the black beast of
Zach
Moicasa, and all of a sudden he gets a completely different fighter in Brian Collette.
Yeah, he trained for that because he really wants that rematch with Moicasa still. But both guys exchanging really good high kicks.
Collette losing his balance. That was a slip, not a knockdown. Collette entered the kickboxing world on fire. Won his first 17 fights, 14 knockouts. But this is a whole nother level. Zinedine Hammerlane, one of the best in the world.
Brian Collette's coming off of 2 wins, both against Myron Dennis at Glory 19 and Glory 32. But this is a highest level tournament and world title shot at the end. So this is definitely a higher level tournament for Collette.
Hammerlane's last fight taking place in France in front of his home fans, and he said he hated that. Does not like fighting in France, felt he gets too distracted. He prefers to fight away games, so to speak. And this is certainly an away game as he fights the American Brian Collette here in Chicago. And so far it's been a disaster for Collette, who's forced to take a knee.
Nice timing hook from Zinedine Hammerlane.
The kicks have completely broken down the Lion so far.
Those kicks are setting up good punches, so he's got to keep mixing up his strikes.
Hammerlane won the tournament last year with 2 knockouts. He may get a 3rd one here.
Brian Collette went with a big overhand right.
And a jumping front kick, it looked like, from Hammerlane.
It just looks like the combinations and the kicks of Hammerlane are too much for Collette. Collette needs to make sure he counters right back, get off the ropes.
How cool does Zinedine Hammerlane look right now? So relaxed. It's a striking clinic so far for the Frenchman. He gets a knockdown in round 1 as we move into round number 2. Here's the knockdown, Joe.
Hammerlane did a really good job at using his kicks and establishing his distance, but that was a nice left hook that caught him off guard, threw a nice liver kick, and then follows it and finished with his hands. Zinedine needs to really keep that distance and use those kicks on the outside. You can tell Colette is really looking to set up that big one-punch knockout. So Hammerlane needs to be intelligent and keep his distance.
Hey, check out the fresh new gear on GloryShop.com. Use the code WELCOME10 on GloryShop.com and get 10% off of all Glory gear. Plenty of new swag to check out. Go to GloryShop.com right now. And I do mean right now.
Those hats are super cool.
The Glory Girls in the house here tonight, letting us know round 2 is upon us. So here we go. What can Brian Collette do at this point? Nothing seemed to work in round 1.
He can't be a standing target. He's got to keep countering back. Go. Be first or counter back. That's his bigger success. He can't just wait for Hammerlane to set up his combination.
Fighting out of Virginia Beach, Virginia is Brian Collette. Plenty of accolades against mid-tier fighters, but now he's fighting the creme de la creme. And Zinedine Hammerlane, a chance to test his skills to see where he truly stacks up now.
Hammerlane's doing a good job at just moving outside the range and the punches of Collette. That's where Collette maybe wants to use his low kick or his high kicks as Zinedine's exiting.
Hammerlane told us he loves fighting in tournaments. 2 fights in a night's better than 1. And Joe, I would assume your recommendation to a fighter in a tournament is to absorb the least amount of damage as possible in your opening bout.
Yeah, there's so many different ways people approach it, but if you don't win the first fight, there's no second fight. So you do have to do what's necessary to win this first fight. So if you're waiting too long, it's not necessarily a good strategy if you're trying to preserve your body.
Nice body shot and then back to the head for Hammerlane.
Stop.
Oh, and a late punch there
okay.
from Collette.
Turn around, fighter.
And that
Turn around,
uppercut
fighter.
just missed, and it caught Hammerlane
Fighter,
perhaps.
Turn around. Let's go.
Here's that punch. Ooh, just grazed the chin. Hammerlane saying, ooh.
Doesn't take much when you touch the chin.
And now Hammerlane's in a bad mood.
That woke him up. No more good boy for Hammerlane.
Body shot from Collette. Whoa! Why not? Give it a go. And then Hammerlane, a kick of his own. Collette putting his hands down by his side. Probably not smart.
Collette does have a karate and taekwondo background from when he was a teen, and he also spent time in Holland training, working his combinations.
Hammerlane having fun in there right now. Again, if you win this fight, about 45 minutes from now, you're back in it again. And a right hand from Collette hits Hammerlane, and he's taunting Collette as he lands again.
Big mistake by Hammerlane. We saw that against Simon Marcus and Wilness. Don't get carried away with the showboating.
I think Hammerlane believes he's on such a different level than Collette. But that's a great equalizer when you're putting your hand in the air, waving around, and you get tagged twice. Oh, my word! What a right hand by Zinedine Hammerlane!
Hammerlane said that his right hand is his strongest weapon, and he knocked out Warren Thompson with it, and he just knocked out Brian Collette.
A knockout bomb from the Frenchman. Ooh la la, Joe!
That's the second time we've seen him land big, powerful right hands, and he's got so much power behind it.
The good boy with a bad boy bomb. And maybe he had a reason to taunt Collette.
But Collette came and landed some good straight punches. But
boom!
Bang! Leans his head up, puts all his weight behind that right hand.
And you could hear the gasps as the replay was shown here on the Big Tron. Zinedine Hammerlane advancing to the finals of this light heavyweight contenders tournament with one of the best right hands you will see this year. We'll make it official when Glory 38 returns. March 25th, the world's elite kickboxers descend on Brussels for Glory 39. Yohan Kongolo is the first to step up to newly crowned welterweight champion Cedric Doumbé. Kongolo wants to make it 3-0 and take the belt from the cocky French star. Plus, Brazilian whirlwind Guto Innocent takes on Moroccan giant Jamal Big Pin City. And the featherweights fly in a contender tournament. It's Glory 39 Brussels, Saturday, March 25th. Don't miss it. Welcome back to Glory 38 Chicago. Get ready for these highlights. They're pretty entertaining, Joe.
Yeah, the first round was more of Zinedine catching his distance, using his punches, and scored a good knockdown. Just as you thought it was over, though, Colette did a good job at coming back with some showboating from Hammer Lane, but ultimately it was that big right hand by Hammer Lane that knocked Colette right out and punched his ticket to the tournament finals.
Let's send it into the ring now. Here is Tim Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout comes to an end. 2 minutes and 46 seconds of that second round ruled a knockout. For your winner, now advancing to the tournament final, Zinedine Hammer Lane.
Here's one more look at that right hand knockout, and it was a beauty from the good boy.
Set up with that left jab, and then boom, slips his head off to the left, puts all his power in that right hand, and down goes Colette.
And look at the reaction of that fan. Mouth agape, hand on the forehead. It surely was a thing of beauty, depending on who you were cheering for. Here is the updated brackets now. 1 fight down, 1 to go. Zinedine Hammer Lane with that knockout win over Brian Collette advances to the final later tonight. And he will face the winner of Ariel Machado and Daniel Olunga. There is Richard Abraham. Big crowd here to see Chicago's native son. He'll have his hands full as he puts his undefeated Glory record on the line against the brash and cocky Antoine Pinto, fighting out of France by way of Thailand. But coming up next, Ariel Machado, the Brazilian, looking to put his stamp on this tournament. He promises a knockout against Daniel Olunga, coming off the fight of the year in December against Michael Duke. Does he have the same killer instinct that we saw back then? We'll find out next. March 25th, the world's elite kickboxers descend on Brussels for Glory 39. Yohan Kongolo is the first to step up to newly crowned welterweight champion Cedric Doumbé. Kongolo wants to make it 3-0 and take the belt from the cocky French star. Plus, Brazilian whirlwind Guto Innocent takes on Moroccan giant Jamal Big Pin City. And the featherweights fly in a contender tournament. It's Glory 39 Brussels, Saturday, March 25th. Don't miss it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now go to the other half of the tournament bracket, and again scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. This man is coming off what many consider to be the fight of the year in 2016, an extra round affair in Germany. Here is Daniel Olunga.
Tim Hughes called it the fight of the year. I dare say, Joe, that was one of the greatest fights in Glory history, Daniel Olunga and Michael Duke.
Both of those guys sat and exchanged all 4 rounds. It went to that extra round, and there was a total of 5 knockdowns in that fight.
We were honored and privileged to call that ringside in Oberhausen, Germany. It's a fight I'll never forget. And there he is, Daniel Olunga, who told us, listen, yes, I got knocked down 3 times, but I wasn't hurt. It was fun. I loved it, but he had to promise his trainers that he would never do that again, so he promises not to get in that type of war here tonight.
Yeah, he should stay technical tonight, and he has a good opportunity to get back as a #1 contender. Back at Glory 9, Ilunga was the #1 ranked light heavyweight. So you got to think that Ilunga hasn't been on the best win streak yet. He's on a 4-fight losing streak in the Glory ring, but that's not affecting him. So he's going to stay technical, try to use his experience in this tournament.
Daniel Ilunga was born in the African Republic of Congo, but in 1987, as a child, his family fled to Europe to escape the Civil War. They settled in Germany, so now he represents both Germany and Congo, and he's wearing the traditional Congo warrior attire here tonight.
He's got some very good unorthodox knees, and one of his coaches is Remy Bonyaski, the flying gentleman who is known for those flying knees. So expect some unorthodox knees, as they're one of his favorite strikes to throw.
This man's short notice win at his debut at Glory 32 Virginia launched his Glory career. Here is Ariel Machado.
Ariel Machado out of Brazil pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the year when he knocked off Pavel Zuralev of Ukraine. And he took that fight on 3 weeks' notice, Joe.
Yeah, that was the biggest upset, and that's definitely the highlight of his career. Unfortunately, that night he had to fight Zinedine Hammerlane, and he lost via liver to the knee. He then came back
or knee to the liver.
And then he came back at Glory 34 Denver, and again lost to Yusri Belgari. So he's Mr. Tournament. This is his 3rd tournament in Glory.
Machado versus Ilunga, Brazil versus Germany/Congo. Both these men, big, heavy hands, and you can see that Ilunga has a height and reach advantage that's somewhat substantial, 2.5 inches taller, 4.5 inches longer.
But the biggest difference in this fight would be the fight experience of Ilunga. Ilunga has a lot of good fight experience fighting top names in the sport and has been around Glory from all the way from Glory to Brussels. So he's a Glory veteran. Machado's just trying to build his name in the Glory ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contender tournament semifinal scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the black corner, a 2-time world Muay Thai champion. He has 68 career fights consisting of 57 wins with just 11 losses, 44 of those wins by knockout. Standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, 1.91 meters, he weighed in at fight time at an even 209 pounds, 94.8 kilos. Fighting tonight out of Germany by way of the Congo. Here is Daniel Debuba Ilunga. Here now is his opponent, a mixed martial artist trained in Muay Thai. His professional record, 43 wins with 8 losses, 33 big knockouts. At 6 feet 1/2 inch tall, 1.84 meters. He weighed in at 208.5 pounds, 94.6 kilos. Fighting tonight out of Curitiba, Brazil, here is Ariel Machado. Your referee in charge of this bout is Oscar Martinez.
Gentlemen, you've had your final instructions. Obey my commands at all times. I want a clean, fair fight, okay? Touch him up. Back to your corners.
Machado out of the fighting city of Curitiba, Brazil. The southern city has produced Anderson Silva, the UFC fighter, Vanderlei Silva, Marcio Shogun Rua, and Saulo Cavallari, who we'll see later tonight. Machado wearing the white gloves, Daniel Ilunga in the black.
And it's going to be Ilunga trying to stay patient. Let's see if he can control his emotions. Well, we're going to see Machado really mix in movement and kicks on the outside, and that's how he beat Zuralev. So he's got to use a similar strategy against Ilunga.
Machado, when asked how this fight went in, he thought, we're going to go the full distance, 3 rounds. That's how I think I'm going to beat him. Ilunga, on the other hand, predicting a knockout. And it's Ilunga on the front foot so far.
Machado's doing a good job at low kicking, and then he exits in circles. That's exactly what he did against Zuralev. where it's more Ilunga now using his punches to try to counter those low kicks.
Ilunga stalking Machado right now.
Excellent lateral movement from Machado. Good low kicks and moving. He's got to be careful from those counter punches of Ilunga.
Ilunga, as he backed up, caught a right hand from Machado.
Both guys have a lot of power. They both have 77% knockout ratios.
We've already seen one knockout in our light heavyweight tournament.
This is what I said earlier. You see the movement of lightweights, and you see Machado really using that movement, and then you saw the power in Hammer Lane.
Oh, and that left caught Ilunga, who was wobbled a bit, and another one, and he staggered again.
It was started from that jab.
And blood now on the top of the head of Ilunga. And Ilunga says, hey, what's going on there? Our referee says, just fight. Don't worry about it. And Ilunga, when he punches those wide punches, he's so open for a counter shot.
But that's why Machado's using that jab, and he's been successful with it.
Not sure how Machado got cut on the top of the head there. We'll have to check the replay after the round. 50 seconds to go. It's been a good round for the Brazilian.
Fight your way out.
Did you see maybe an elbow or a...
If it's at the top of the head, it's got to be an elbow, maybe a headbutt.
Being told by our producer, Bill Borson, that it was indeed a headbutt and a left hand from Ilunga. And we're starting to get Michael Duke type of territory again as Machado waves Ilunga in.
I liked when Machado was fighting on the outside, but he did land some good punches, and he is getting better of some of the exchanges.
Fight out. Hands up. 10 seconds.
Some wild exchanges here in round one. Scheduled for 3 here in Chicago. Let's see what happened, Joe. Was it an elbow? Was it a headbutt? Let's see. That looked like a headbutt from that replay. Let's see another one. It might possibly be an elbow here.
Oh. I still think it happened from that initial headbutt before the punch grazed over.
All fighters are used to tasting their own blood at some point, but it's not usually coming from the top of your head.
You can't really see the cut to see how bad it is. Remember, if he wins this fight, he has one more to fight.
So the corner will play a crucial role now here for Machado in controlling that cut, stopping the bleeding. One more look at it as they collide heads right there. Surprised Ilunga wasn't busted open as well. Round 2 now. You got to bring this up. Daniel Ilunga, the son of a preacher, as mean as he can be in the ring, the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Did a lot of charity work this week in Chicago, met with school children, passed out food to the homeless. So Ilunga spreading the love everywhere he goes, and want to thank him for that.
And that's how you build the sport. You have good fights in the ring, and you really show good personality and really giving back to the community.
Fight out.
You can see the Vaseline on the top of Machado's head.
Machado was doing good when he was kicking and moving on the outside, but he pulled Ilunga into some big exchanges.
Oh, and a left hand, and Ilunga snapped back for a second like he was hit with a taser.
Machado's shins are taking a beating over there. Ilunga keeps blocking with his knee.
Hammer Lane escaped his opening bout relatively easily without a lot of damage. Both these men, though, have taken some heavy shots, especially Ilunga. And Joe, before this tournament started, I asked you who you thought the favorite was or who you thought would win it, and you picked Ilunga. Why?
It's just that experience that he has, and seeing that fight with Dude, and just shows how passionate he is to get back as the #1 contender. So I got to go with give that experience edge to Ilunga, but Machado's doing a great job in this fight. Landing more of the power shots. Seems like he's doing the most damage. Ilunga really needs to pick up the pace here in this last half of the second round. Trying to utilize some of those knees now on the inside. Ilunga's doing a good job at blocking Machado's leg kicks and kneeing on the inside.
Watch the holding. Fight!
Ariel Machado told us he wanted Zinedine Hammerlane in the final, a rematch of the Contender Tournament final from last year. And Machado will get Hammerlane if he can win this fight here against Daniel Ilunga.
Machado slowed down. He's not really throwing those nice jabs that was slowing Ilunga down. Or those
and a right hand right on the temple.
Just as I said that, he landed that nice shot.
And you think about all the wars that Ilunga has been in the glory ring, and those shots will take their toll. His chin certainly can't be what it once was. 10 seconds to go.
Both of them are alternating. Who's the pressure fighter? It was Ilunga most of this round, but Machado still finding power in his hooks.
Right when Ilunga starts to get a little momentum, it's the big right hand from Machado that changes the complexion of the round.
Here's Machado coming in. It was that nice left hook that clipped Ilunga. It was a nice 1, 2, 3. It didn't look like a hard shot, but if it's landed on the right spot, it doesn't take too much. Then at the end of the round, it was that nice overhand right just over that left guard of Ilunga, which could have easily stole Machado the round as the best shot of the fight. So
Joe, going back to your in-ring experience, even though it's not the hardest punch, what does it do to you when you get clipped right above the ear with a punch?
Well, it slowly breaks in your equilibrium, and you need to... It takes a while to recover from those shots, so that's why if you have someone hurt like that, you need to follow up and keep active with those punches. It doesn't take as much power to do as much damage.
Does it not feel like it hurt? You just can't control your body? Is that what it feels like?
Sometimes your knees just buckle and you don't know.
So round 3 now. And Joe, how do you have it?
Well, it's Machado doing good job in the first round and landing the cleaner shots, but I still have to give the advantage into this third round to Machado.
So round 3 might be a must-win here for Ilunga, and possibly must knock him out, or at least knock him down.
According to Fight Metrics, it's Machado landing 65 out of 127 shots, where only 35 out of 100 for Ilunga.
Nearly doubling the strikes landed is Machado.
Go!
The light heavyweight division, one of the most fascinating in glory right now. You're always one punch away from a knockout or a knockdown. There's a slip from Ilunga.
Fight!
Daniel Ilunga has a grocery store in his native country of Congo. Always trying to give back to the locals. Feels it's important to give the poor people of his country fresh fruit and vegetables. They don't get that a lot there. One of the biggest hearts in the sport. Went to the south side of Chicago, as I mentioned earlier. But he knows he'll have a much bigger platform if he can continue to look good here in glory, especially if he can win this tournament.
Machado keeps finding success with that overhand right.
Close with that elbow. Getting too close with that elbow. Be careful. Strong warning. Strong warning. Getting too close with that elbow. Ready? Here we go. Ready? Fight!
That was pretty clear. Watch the elbow.
Ilunga's putting the pressure on again. He knows he has to pick it up a little bit.
What a left hand from Machado.
Not only does Machado land that right, he follows with the left.
And that is called a knockdown. That is very surprising.
That was a weird call, but as he was walking back, his leg buckled under him.
But was a shot landed?
It looked like a late reaction to the shot, according to the referee.
Well, it is now guns a-blazing time for Ilunga. He's going to have to win this fight by knockout. Or so it would seem. 30 seconds to go here in round 3. A spot in the light heavyweight tournament final against Hammerlane is up for grabs. And here comes that rockin' sock'em style from Ilunga now.
Ilunga landed a left hook and a right hand, but Machado came right back.
And Machado with a left. Machado needs to be careful. He may have this fight won if he just doesn't get caught. And that is it. An entertaining scrap here, but it appears the Brazilian has done enough, Joe.
It was that knockdown that really would have sealed that deal for Machado, but it's a tough call on this knockdown. You can see it clips him as he comes back. It kind of looks like his leg buckle under him. Very tough call, but who knows? Referee Martinez called the knockdown.
Called it a knockdown. And the decision now from our second light heavyweight semifinal is next. Coming up later tonight, Richard Abraham fights in front of his hometown crowd, and he spoke to Whitney Miller just moments ago.
I'm standing backstage in Richard Abraham's locker room as he prepares to fight Antoine Pinto tonight. He has 500 friends and family out there cheering him on. How does that feel?
I'm very excited. Thank you all for coming out.
Now, Antoine Pinto said that he was going to destroy you in your hometown. What is your reaction to that?
That's nice. Well, I guess we'll have to find out here in a little bit.
We certainly will. And I know I do not stand alone when we are so looking forward to this. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Here's our highlights from Machado versus Ilunga, Joe, and a little bit of controversy for sure.
Yeah, it all came down to that knockdown, but there was a lot of good exchanges happening both ways. The cut on Machado's head from that headbutt. But Machado did a good job at really coming forward, and there was that constant pressure of throwing hooks, and he found a lot of success with that right hand and looping those punches over. But Ilunga just kept showing that tough style that he has and kept coming forward and eating those punches. And there's that controversial knockdown from that late reaction fall or slip, whatever you want to call it. But that could have been the deciding factor in that fight.
Here's our post-fight statistics from our fight metrics. And as you can see, it was the Brazilian with 86 total landed compared to just 52 for Ilunga. Tim Hughes now with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of kickboxing, we go to the judges' scorecard. Here now are the totals. Judge Winter and Judge Mason score the bout 30-26. Judge Caldwell scores the bout 30-27. All for your winner by unanimous decision. Now advancing to the tournament final, Ariel Machado.
All right, Joe, we've seen Zinedine Hammerlane. We've seen Ariel Machado. Your thoughts on our final coming up in a few minutes.
What scares me is the energy output that Machado had to do to win this fight, where that big right hand from Hammerlane made it an easier win for him. But how much damage did Ilunga do to Machado? We'll have to see in that final tonight.
Still to come later tonight. Besides our light heavyweight tournament final, it'll be the light heavyweight championship of the world. Artem Bagitov and Salo Cavallari. Coming up next, though, 4 glory fights, all wins for Chicago's own Richard Abraham. And another victory tonight puts him right in the title shot conversation. But standing in his way, his toughest task yet, the young, brash, baller, Antoine Pinto. That welterweight showdown is next. March 25th, the world's elite kickboxers descend on Brussels for Glory 39. Yohan Congolo is the first to step up to newly crowned welterweight champion Cedric Doumbé. Congolo wants to make it 3-0 and take the belt from the cocky French star. Plus, Brazilian whirlwind Guto Innocent takes on Moroccan giant Jamal Big Pin City. And the featherweights fly in a contender tournament. It's Glory 39 Brussels, Saturday, March 25th. Don't miss it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time now for your co-main event of the evening. 3 rounds in the Glory welterweight division. This young phenom fought in the famed Lumpini Stadium at the tender age of just 14 and became a top 10 ranked Muay Thai fighter at 17. Here is Antoine Pinto.
He is a stark contrast to his opponent, Richard Abraham. Antoine Pinto is young, fly, and flashy. He does not seem to care what anyone thinks about him, much less Richard Abraham's fans here tonight. He had some disparaging things to say about his opponent leading up to this bout.
He's super confident, and he brings that confidence in the ring. You got to think, at 26 years old, he has 166 fights to his record, 77 by knockout. Fighting has been his life. He had his first fight at the age of 11. He's been part of a fighting community, eat, breathe fighting, living in camps. So he has the confidence feeling, I have too much experience, whether it's in Muay Thai, whether it's in kickboxing, he's confident.
He feels like he's already conquered Muay Thai and Thailand. He's coming here to conquer glory, and it all begins tonight.
This WKF Intercontinental Champion last appeared at Glory 34 in Denver with a decision win over Mike Mateta. Here is Richard Abraham.
He is the hometown favorite, and he's as blue collar as it gets. His job should tell you everything. He's an engraver on tombstones, Joe. He fights in the morning, goes to work in the afternoon, and fights at night. And he does it all for his family, which includes 6 children.
Yeah, he brings that hard work, and he just has shown great power in the Glory ring, having 4-0, making his debut last year at Glory 27, and just constantly gets better, winning the Glory Contenders Tournament at Glory 30 LA, and a good performance at Glory 34 Denver. He's here. He wants a chance to fight the champion at the welterweight division. Even in his first fight at Glory, he wanted the champion at that time, Nicky Holtzkin.
Richard Abraham, 31 years old. He's ranked 6th in the world in the welterweight division, fighting out of Chicago, Illinois. But Joe, Antoine Pinto, despite only being 26, has so much more experience.
Yeah, he has the experience, but what Abraham has right off the bat is a weight advantage. Abraham cuts a lot more weight than Pinto does. You saw and watched those Inside Glory segments. You had Pinto eating Burger King a few days before the fight, so he doesn't cut much weight, but it all comes down to that huge fight experience for Pinto, who's fought his whole entire life. But this is kickboxing, where Richard Abraham feels he has the advantage, where he can use his boxing and his power.
Your co-main event of the evening is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds in the Glory welterweight division. Introducing first, standing on my right and fighting out of the black corner, a 4-time world champion in 4 different weight divisions. His professional record, 130 wins with 36 losses and 1 draw. 77 career knockouts. He'll make his Glory debut tonight in Chicago. He stands 6 feet 1/2 inch tall, 1.84 meters, and weighed in at 170 pounds, 77.1 kilos. Fighting tonight out of Toulouse, France, by way of Bangkok, Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Antoine Pinto. Here now is his opponent, standing on my left and fighting out of the white corner. This qualifying tournament winner is undefeated in 4 prior Glory appearances. His professional record, 11 wins with 3 losses, 4 of those wins by knockout. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, 1.75 meters, he weighed in at 169.5 pounds, 76.9 kilos. Fighting tonight out of Itasca, Illinois, here is Richard Maximus Abraham. Your referee in charge of this bout is Chris Wagner.
Gentlemen, you coach in the dressing room, a nice clean fight, better make a man at all times. In case of a knockdown, we have a neutral corner right here to go to, the man next fight pull you out. Any questions over here? Any questions over here? Fight fair, fight hard, touch gloves. Judge.
So it's a tombstone engraver versus a Taiwan magazine cover model. The biggest fight of Richard Maximus Abraham's career happens right now in front of his hometown crowd. Abraham in the white gloves, Pinto in the black.
This fight's going to be about the boxing of Abraham versus the kicks of Pinto. Pinto's got some very vicious kicks on the outside. But Abraham wants to step in and utilize his boxing on the inside.
Certainly a lot of nerves going through the body now of Abraham. So much pressure on him to perform with so many friends and family in attendance. Pinto as relaxed as can be.
And that's the Muay Thai style. Because they're so experienced, they do a good job at staying very relaxed. But what Abraham has to really do is when he's on that inside, he has to utilize his boxing. And Thai fighters don't really get head-to-head boxing styles, but he has a coach where he's been developing his boxing for a long time, so he's prepared for that boxing range.
And don't forget, Richard Abraham is trained in Thailand as well. In fact, he was the first American to fight and win at the new Lumpini Stadium.
He even spent, I believe, 2 weeks in Thailand preparing for this fight.
There are those kicks that Joe was talking about from Pinto to the body. Abraham needs to get inside, has to close the distance. And there's a flying knee from Pinto.
That's where Pinto's very dangerous. He'll catch your kick and counter right back, whether it's knees or kicks of his own.
Pinto and his brother Victor, who also fights in Glory, have their own clothing line in Thailand. He's a fashion model. There's a huge celebrity there, but he wants to come to America and make a name for himself. And he can do that with step one with a victory here tonight over Abraham.
You can see Pinto really using those kicks. Abraham needs to stay very clear of them, but he landed a good left hook to the body, and then Pinto followed right back with a left kick.
A relatively pedestrian round one so far, considering the bad blood and all the talking done, especially from Pinto leading up to this fight. Just 3 3-minute rounds.
Back it up. Fight, 10 seconds.
Pinto really focusing on those left kicks. He feels that's his way to shut down those hands.
Head kick right there at the buzzer, or at the bell rather, and Abraham with some late shots that didn't impress Pinto too much. There's Richard Abraham's wife, Kelly. They have twin baby girls, 6 children in all. And here's a little bit more on Richard Maximus Abraham. If you saw our Inside Glory magazine show, you know that Abraham lost his son Maximus, just 5 days old. That's what inspires him. That's who he's fighting for, Joe.
Yeah, and that's the name of his gym. And wherever you see, he promotes Maximus. And he says that gives him that extra strength because he really wants to build that name for his son.
As for his opponent, Antoine Pinto, a top 10 Muay fighter at the age of just 17.
And you see his best move, that left kick, and he's really establishing it already in this fight. And that's the good weapon against the boxing, and he really gets it. He does a good job inside of the ring putting on exciting fights, but he understands the life outside of the ring.
You saw that Pinto says his left kick is better than his right, and his right ain't too shabby.
No, he mixed in some good right high kicks. Very good at mixing in levels and different sides.
Who did you like in that opening round, Joe?
That's a very tough round for me to call, but if you're looking at what did the damage, is very similar. But it looked like Pinto's kicks and with spectacular scoring could have given him the edge.
So far, when Abraham does manage to get inside, he hasn't been able to land a big power shot.
And what's a little sneaky move Pinto does is he hits the inside leg of Abraham, which makes it hard for Abraham to set his feet and get power in his punching. So those quick inside left kicks of Pinto.
Abraham has to figure out this puzzle that is Antoine Pinto, and he doesn't have a lot of time left to do it. A round and a half here.
I liked when Abraham was really looking that left hook to the body, and he did land some good low kicks in the first round.
That kick missed, which allowed a little space for Abraham to close the distance, which he does, but again, it ends up in a clinch.
But those little knees in the clinch actually add up in damage. You can see the redness on Abraham's ribs. Could be from the kicks, could be from the knees.
It's looked a lot like a Muay Thai fight so far, and that favors Pinto.
It's the kicks are slowing down the output of Abraham. But that's what Abraham needs to do right there. If he's going to eat a kick, keep coming forward. Throw your hands, counter right away.
If you're going to clinch, you got to be right away. You clear? Come on. Fight.
This crowd waiting to see something they're going to get behind, something that'll get them out of their seats. Abraham downstairs.
Attacking the body is good move.
Abraham's attacking the body with punches, Pinto with knees. And then Pinto with a rare punch that connects to the jaw.
But the clinch happens because Pinto, that's his way of defending punches. He can stay outside, move and exit, or he closes distance to avoid the boxing. He's not going to stay in the punch range of Abraham, and that just shows his experience.
And again, Pinto goes with the clinch and lands a knee, and it's starting to frustrate Abraham.
You ready?
Abraham saying, let's fight, man.
10 seconds.
Is Abraham talking about the excessive clinching?
We showed you Abraham's wife, Kelly. Let's take a look at Pinto's brother, Victor Pinto, who lost his glory debut to Giga Chikadze, suffered a knockout kick to the liver. But right now, things appear to be going Antoine Pinto's way. He is stifling Abraham's attack.
Yeah, his kicks, his teeps, his left kicks, his right kicks, his distance control is really making it hard for Abraham to get his hands and combinations going. So he needs to keep that distance control and keep up with this style of fighting because it's obviously working and frustrating Abraham. Abraham, on the other hand, has to realize he needs to counter off of those kicks. And it's not necessarily the first combination that's going to land. He might have to throw multiple combinations to keep closing that distance that Pinto's trying to create.
How does he lure Pinto into a brawl? That seems to be what Abraham needs to happen.
He just needs to sit in the pocket and keep countering those kicks back. Every time he eats a kick, follow with the punches. And he's had good success with throwing his own low kicks.
So it's the third and final round. Abraham in the white gloves, Pinto in the black. The first round was close. The second round appeared to lean towards Pinto. Total strikes landed, 41 for Pinto, 20 for Abraham.
There's the low kicks. He needs to go back to them. Good job, Abraham. But there's that vicious left kick of Pinto that's really hard to get around.
Pinto says his plan is to beat Abraham tonight, maybe win one more, perhaps two more, and then get a shot at the welterweight championship. It is a stacked division, Joe.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting fights happening in the welterweight division, but both of these guys add a great dimension to it.
Looked like a left hook there from Pinto.
Mixing in his right kick from that left. It looks like Abraham's trying to slip those kicks and come back with punches of his own.
And wisely, Pinto to the clinch, lands
Back
some
up.
knees,
Let's go. Back up.
and forces our referee to separate them. A minute and a half to go here in round 3. Abraham just hasn't found the opening yet.
No, he really forgets about those leg kicks, though. I feel, there he goes.
That's a nice exchange.
That seems to be his best shot. He's having a hard time landing his punches. He had his most success with his left hook to the body and his low kick. Pinto does a good job at mixing levels with his kicks. He'll try to attack the body, the arms, and then mix in high kicks. Good way to set up high kick knockouts.
Less than a minute to go for Abraham. Flying knee from Pinto, and again to the clinch.
He ties up Abraham and throws those knees.
Kelly Abraham, you could see the nervousness on her face.
She's yelling for her husband to keep going.
There's a low kick, and now Abraham trying to get the punches off too. But Pinto has, for the most part, not allowed it to happen.
No, good distance control, fighting on the outside and closing distance with those clinching knees.
And that right hand, that may be a knockdown. The referee says it's a slip. That is a huge decision. That is a massive decision, Joe.
It looked like it knocked him off balance. I'd have to rewatch that, but it was a good shot. He waited a little too long to get aggressive with his punches. He should have been throwing that aggressive style of countering a lot earlier.
That punch may have won in the round, but if it was ruled a knockdown, it could have been so much more important.
Especially looking at that first round, that was very close.
And Joe, much like boxing, if it is a strike, that even if it's an off-balance shot that caused the fighter to go down, it should be ruled a knockdown.
It's very tough to call because it's the way you fall from it. So it's going to be very interesting to see the replay to see what happened.
We will see that replay and find out the decision when Glory 38 returns. What a year it was here in Glory 2016. Let's take a look back at the year in pictures. welcome back to the Sears Center here in Chicago. Let's look at our highlights, Joe, and that very controversial knockdown that was not ruled a knockdown.
But this fight was just as we predicted. It was the punching output of Abraham versus the kicks and knees of Pinto. First round was a little closer, but in the second round it seemed like Pinto was doing more damage with his kicks and his knees on the inside, frustrating Abraham because Abraham was just missing punches. In the third round, Abraham started coming back a little bit more, but Pinto's left kick was doing a lot of damage, and we wanted to see that knockdown and see if the truck can pull it up for us.
Here's the strike statistics. As you can see, Pinto with 61 punches landed compared to just 33 for Richard Abraham. Let's find out who got the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout goes the distance, so we go back to the judges' scorecard. Here now are the totals. Judge Pacillo scores the bout 29-28 Abraham. Judge Morley scores the bout 29-28 Pinto. And Judge D'Amato scores the bout 29-28 for your winner by split decision, Antoine Pinto.
There you have it, successful kickboxing debut for Antoine Pinto. The crowd not agreeing with it, but he did do a lot of good damage with those kicks, did frustrate Abraham, so I don't necessarily disagree with the decision.
If that had been ruled a knockdown, it would have cost Pinto a point, and we would have gone to an extra round. Let's see if it was indeed a knockdown or not. Here's the replay.
It looked like he missed the punches, but let's see, it was that counter right hand. It hit off the shoulder. I wouldn't have called that a knockdown.
Watch it again. Watch the right glove to the ear. Boom! Right on the side of the head, Joe. That seemed to me like a knockdown. We'll have to agree to disagree.
Well, from that angle, it does look more like a knockdown, but according to the Glory definition, a knockdown is when any part of the fighter's body other than their bottom of their feet has touched the canvas as a result of a damaging strike or strikes, or would have touched the ground if it wasn't for the ropes.
Either way, a Glory debut victory for Antoine Pinto. Still to come tonight in our main event, Artem Vakhitov, coming off a humbling victory over Zach Vakasa with a combination of skill and power rarely seen in the light heavyweight division, will look to tame Saulo Cavallari in the same fashion tonight. They complete their trilogy with the highest stakes possible. The light heavyweight world championship is on the line. But coming up next, it'll be the final of our light heavyweight tournament. Ariel Machado trying to regain his focus, his energy, his breath. He'll be fighting Zinedine Hammerlane, who picked up a knockout victory in round 2 of his opening contest against Brian Collette. That fight, the tournament final, is coming up next. We are back here in Chicago, Illinois, Glory 38, as we look at our updated brackets from the light heavyweight contender tournament. It'll be France versus Brazil, Joe. Hammerlane versus Machado.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights, how these two got to the finals. And it started with Zinedine Hammerlane really utilizing his good boxing, his good kicks, caused a good knockdown, but he just, ultimately that right hand sealed him the deal. Perfectly overhand, dips his head up with all the shot. He really showed that he does have power in that right hand, just as he knocked out Warren Thompson. So Machado's going to have to really be careful for that right hand in the finals. In the second fight, it was Machado and Ilunga in more of a grueling fight. Both guys constantly throwing big exchanges, but it was ultimately Machado that was doing the most damage on the inside using his punches. Although he sustained a cut and had to put more energy into the win, and that may affect him in the finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time now for the Contender Tournament Final. A third round standing 8 finished off his semifinal with a unanimous decision. Please welcome back Ariel Machado.
Ariel Machado, with his win earlier tonight, did not come out unscathed. A gash on the top of his head, Joe. You can still see the blood there. How much of an effect do you think that will have on the Brazilian here?
Well, it's on the top of the head, so it won't do that much damage because, you know, most of the punches are coming towards the forehead, the eyes, and the chin, so it shouldn't be too much of an effect for him.
A big right hand brought a sudden stop to his semifinal in the second round. Here comes Zinedine Hammerlane.
He is the good boy, and you know what? He may have already picked up the knockout of the night bonus that Glory has instituted. So he might have $5,000 more in his pocket as of now, unless he could top it here in our main event. Maybe he could win the fighter of the night as well.
And this is the same situation that has happened at Glory 32 Virginia, where Zinedine knocked out Warren Thompson in the first round, and Machado had more of a tough fight against Zervalev. So this is the exact same situation that has happened at Glory 32 Virginia.
And of course, Hammerlane won that fight by knocking out Machado in the final.
And it was a nice knee to deliver that did it.
This is the fight that Machado wanted. He wanted the rematch. He wanted it in the final. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Here's our tale of the tape. France versus Brazil. Hammerlane versus Machado. Machado, 3 pounds heavier, but that's not a big deal. The reach, though, could be, as well as the height for Hammerlane.
Yeah, Zinedine should be fighting long because Machado's going to want to come on the inside. So Zinedine has to use that professional fight experience to keep Machado away, use good straight punches, where Machado's going to want to try to get on the inside a little bit more and land those big, heavy punches.
Time, ladies and gentlemen, for your light heavyweight contender tournament final, scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the black corner. He now runs his professional record to 44 wins with 8 losses and 33 career knockouts. Standing 6 feet, 1/2 inch tall, 1.84 meters. He weighed in at 208 1/2 pounds, 94.6 kilos. Back tonight, fighting out of Curitiba, Brazil. Please welcome once again, Ariel Machado. His opponent, fighting out of the white corner, now improves his professional record to 57 wins with 14 losses and 36 knockouts. At 6 feet 3 1/2 inches tall, 1.92 meters, he weighed in at 205 1/2 pounds, 93.2 kilos. Back tonight, fighting out of France, here again, the good boy, Zinedine Hammerlane. And the referee in charge of this bout is Oscar Martinez.
Fighter, come on over. Fighter, come on over. All right, gentlemen, it's the final. I want a clean, fair fight. Obey my commands at all times. Okay? Back to your corners, guys. Fighter! Fighter! Fight!
A world championship title opportunity is on the line. Hammerlane in the white gloves, Machado in the black.
Let's see if Zinedine can use those knees as he did at Glory 32.
If you're just joining us, Hammerlane with a knockout win in his opening bout. Did not expend a ton of energy to get it done. Machado in a much more brutal encounter in his victory over Daniel Ilunga. Sometimes it's fitness that can make all the difference. Ooh, nice inside leg kick there from the Brazilian.
It's very interesting to see how Machado's going to approach this, knowing that Zinedine had more time to recover and had an easier fight. Does he go out and throw the hard punches, or does he save some energy? Because he was very fatigued in their last outing at Glory 32.
Hammerlane told us his most powerful weapon is his big right hand, which he displayed to the jaw of Brian Collette. As for Machado, he said, "I kick really hard." And that's a quote. And looking at his thighs, you got to believe that. Massive thighs on the Brazilian.
He likes to kick, but he's relying a lot on his heavy and strong punches on the inside, constantly looping them over, which is a good shot to throw against the taller Zinedine.
High kick misses. And boy, Machado could have launched a right hand there as Hammerlane was backed against the ropes with both gloves up. Looked like a crucifix. And is it just me, or does Hammerlane look a little lethargic so far?
He does look a little slower.
Oh, a nice head kick.
He landed some good knees and high kicks. He's using a nice jab. I want to see him use it more. Good job at Machado ripping the body.
And another head kick for Hammerlane. Those will get the judge's attention. And a nice 1-2 backs Machado off.
Machado stays really square, so it's open to straight punches. So that's where Zinedine has to use his jab.
Oh, and Hammerlane turned his back on his opponent.
1, 2. Is that a body shot?
Hammerlane!
5!
Not even thinking
6,
about getting up.
7!
This would be a stunner.
8, 9!
It's over! Ariel Machado will fight for the light heavyweight championship of the world. And something from the opening bell just didn't seem right regarding Zinedine Hammerlane.
And it was the last fight where Zinedine finished Machado with a knee, but it was Machado now finishing Zinedine to the body. He returned the favor. So let's take a look at it. It was a right hand.
And Hammerlane turned his back on his opponent.
It looked like it was the right hand of Machado that stunned him.
But then Hammerlane went down holding his body. I'm not sure what happened.
Maybe he was covering up that it was trying to blame the body shot for the damage, but it was definitely that right hand of Machado that did the most damage. Zinedine turning his back, followed with a left hook. Maybe that did some damage, but it definitely, to me, looked like it was that heavy overhand right.
I'm going to send our French translator in there to speak to Hammerlane real quick just to see maybe what was wrong with him. Just never felt right from the get-go. We'll make it official when we return.
This flag isn't backwards. It's assaulting forward. Born with a nation of independence, who made the choice to make their lives and their families' lives better. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We carry on that tradition today. Fight on, break through, never quit. This flag isn't backwards. It's assaulting forward. We are growth style, and this
You're hurting.
March 25th, the world's elite kickboxers descend on Brussels for Glory 39. Yohan Kongolo is the first to step up to newly crowned welterweight champion Cedric Doumbé. Kongolo wants to make it 3-0 and take the belt from the cocky French star. Plus, Brazilian whirlwind Guto Innocent takes on Moroccan giant Jamal Big Pin Sadiq. And the featherweights fly in a contender tournament. It's Glory 39 Brussels, Saturday, March 25th. Don't miss it. Welcome back to the Sears Center. Our French translator told us that Hammerlane said he was fine. Thought he got up at the 8 count, but that did not seem to be the case, did it?
Yeah, looked like at one point he was trying to wait for the 8 count to stand, but he got up very slow, so Oscar Martinez really had to make the call.
Here are the highlights of the fight. Zinedine Hammerlane, Ariel Machado. It's our light heavyweight contender tournament final.
Yeah, Zinedine was finding good success with throwing straight punches, but Machado kept coming in with big hooks, and that was the end of the fight where he landed a good right hand and followed by that left hook to the body. And even after the fight, you see Zinedine talking and tapping his body, saying it was the body shot that did the most damage, but to me it looked like that right hand.
Here are our strike statistics. Hammerlane with 15 landed, including several damaging head kicks, but it was Machado who got the job done, 19 of 43. The official decision now, and Tim Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee Oscar Martinez steps in and waves this one off with an official time of 2 minutes and 43 seconds of that very first round. This one comes to an end by technical knockout. For your winner, and now Glory Contender Tournament Champion, Ariel Machado. Here to present the Ramon Deckers Commemorative Trophy, our Chief Executive Officer, John Franklin, and joined from our talent operations, Mr. Eric Haycraft.
Get it now. Yes.
It is the crowning achievement of Ariel Machado's career, the biggest night of his life. And he gets to see who he'll fight coming up next in our main event. Your thoughts on the likelihood that Machado can indeed become the light heavyweight champion of the world?
Well, his first fights are always very impressive, and he shows a good mix of movement and power, so there's a good chance.
And send a hug to all my students in Brazil. Now he's just watching the fights. And I just say thank you for 2 guys, Julio Borges and Madison Filho. This guy is awesome, the best coaches in the world. And Carolina, Raul, you are my life. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ariel Machado.
Cavalari, Victor, I'm here. I'm coming for the belt, man.
Coming up next, it is our main event of the evening. The light heavyweight championship of the world is on the line. Artem Vahitov, fighting out of Russia, squares off against Saulo Cavallari of Brazil, the final match of their trilogy. It's the rubber match, each man with 1 win apiece. That fight when we return to Glory 38 Chicago. The world's elite kickboxers descend on Brussels for Glory 39. Yohan Kongolo is the first to step up to newly crowned welterweight champion Cedric Doumbé. Kongolo wants to make it 3-0 and take the belt from the cocky French star. Plus, Brazilian whirlwind Guto Innocent takes on Moroccan giant Jamal Big Pin Sadiq. And the featherweights fly in a contender tournament. It's Glory 39 Brussels, Saturday, March 25th. Don't miss it.
The Glory Light Heavyweight belt is on the line in a rematch with Saulo Cavallari.
The power Cavallari has in those punches is incredible. And Vahytov counters. Attacking the head, going right to the body. Body shot from Vahytov. Oh, front kick from Cavallari. Gets through the defense. Wicked intentions from both fighters.
Vahytov's just going to pick him apart.
Extremely fast hands from Vahytov.
Both of these guys sitting head to head, comboing back and forth.
First to make his way to the glory ring, his 82% career knockout ratio means he can end a fight anywhere at any time. Winner of 5 of his last 6 glory starts. Here comes Saulo Cavallari.
Saulo Cavallari, his nickname is Cassius Clay. Those are some big shoes to fill. And it's interesting because his style is nothing like Muhammad Ali.
No, Muhammad Ali likes to use his footwork and movement, where Cavallari is one of those raw, aggressive power fighters who always comes forward and throws everything with a lot of power and bad intentions.
And he's always looking for the knockout, and he certainly gets them, Joe. 60-4 record with 49 knockouts.
He unified the title with a technical knockout victory in Nice just a few months ago and is back to defend the belt. Here is Artem Vahytov.
The ominous violin music. Artem Vahytov. Don't let the schoolboy looks fool you, Joe. He is a killer.
Oh, man, and he just keeps getting better, and that's what makes Vahytov so scary. And he took the belt from Cavallari at Glory 28 Paris and dominated the fight by attacking the body, changing levels, using his boxing. He just showed great strike selection and accuracy and defense. And in the last fight, he had an amazing performance against Zach Moicasa with a second-round TKO. Dropped Moicasa with a jab, used good low kicks, so he's so well-versed and can adapt so easily between styles.
He is well-rounded for sure. And after he beat Moicasa, I was in the ring with him. I said, congratulations. And he said to me in English, and his English isn't perfect by any means, he said, I'm going to get even better. Let's see if he has indeed gotten better here tonight. Here's our tale of the tape. The light heavyweight championship of the world is on the line. The rubber match between Vahytov and Cavallari.
This fight is about the raw, aggressive power of Cavallari with the more technical, precision striking of Vahytov. And if you look at the records between the two, it shows Vahytov only having 22 professional fights to Cavallari's 64, but it's Vahytov that has a huge amateur experience. Who knows how many fights he has, but let me tell you, this is going to be a great trilogy and one of the best rivalries in kickboxing.
Let's get deeper here with our fight metric report. The knockdown ratio, Vahytov has never been knocked down. Neither has Cavallari. Striking accuracy impressive by both men.
You can see what's very impressive is that strike differential where Vahytov does a good job at attacking and defending, not getting hit too often.
Here are our championship rules in Glory. This one scheduled for 5 rounds, 3 minutes each. Punches, kicks, and knees are the legal strikes. 3 knockdowns in a round or 4 in the fight, and it will be a TKO.
Taking a look at the scoring system, each round will be scored using the 10-point must system. We're looking for knockdowns, damage, and spectacular techniques. If there's still no clear winner, we want aggressiveness.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. 5 rounds for the Glory Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. A rubber match set in motion with split victories in Paris and Dubai. This bout sanctioned by the Illinois State Athletic Commission. And at the opening bell, your referee is Chris Wagner. From Chicago to Shanghai, Glory kickboxing fans are watching around the world. It's time for Glory! Let's meet the challenger fighting out of the black corner. He won Brazil's World Grand Prix in 2013. His professional record, 60 wins with just 4 losses and 49 career knockouts. He stands 6 feet 2.5 inches, 1.89 meters, and he weighed in at fight time at an even 209 pounds, 94.8 kilos. He's here tonight out of Curitiba, Brazil, and is the former light heavyweight champion of the world. He is Saulo Cassius Clay Cavallari. His opponent standing on my left and fighting out of the white corner, a 3-time Russian champion, 2-time European champion. His young professional career, 17 wins with just 5 losses, 7 of those wins by knockout. At 6 feet 1 inch tall, 1.86 meters, he weighed in at an even 207 pounds, 93.9 kilos. Fighting tonight out of Kuzbass, Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the reigning and defending Glory Light Heavyweight Champion of the world, Artem Vahita.
Go for a good fight, baby.
Once again, your referee is Chris Wagner.
Shirts off. Artem. So. Right here. Right here. All right, gentlemen, we went over the instructions in the dressing room. On a nice clean fight, I obey my commands at all times. In case of a knockdown, with the neutral corner I tell you to go to, remain there till I call you out. Any questions over here? Any questions over here? Fight fair, fight hard. Touch them up. Back it up. Judge. Judge. Judge.
Cavallari has beaten Vahitov. Vahitov has beaten Cavallari. They meet for the 3rd and final time right now for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Vahitov, the champion, in the white gloves. Cavallari wearing black.
A lot of the first 2 fights were a lot about low kicks, where in the first fight at Glory 20 Dubai, Cavallari did a good job at damaging the legs of Vahitov. But in the second fight at Glory 28 Paris, you had Vahitov answering Cavallari's low kicks, blocking them and firing out his own.
Cavallari was pretty simple-minded when we asked him what this fight would come down to. He said, whoever has the bigger heart, and I've got the bigger heart.
Stop. Break. Step back. Side there.
Fight.
Vahitov, a classically trained pianist. Let's see what his concerto will be tonight. Looking for his most complete performance yet.
The way Vahitov stays in the pocket, he stays really, really defensive, and then he'll counter back, and they're both exchanging good low kicks and combinations.
And Vahitov is checking some of those kicks as well. Some fighters will just stand there and eat them. What's your strategy on that?
Well, I like to give them, but I really haven't had too many guys really attack my legs, but I'm always ready to block. See, with the style of Vahitov, he stays in the pocket and he stays really tight defensively, but Cavallari's doing a good job at posting him up and then firing those low kicks.
They know each other very well. Have spent 8 rounds in the squared circle together thus far. This one's scheduled for 5, as are all championship fights in Glory. Vahitov fighting out of Kuzbass, Russia. About 200,000 people live there. He's content to stay there, Joe. Some fighters travel to Thailand or travel perhaps to the Netherlands. Vahitov stays at home.
Yeah, his family's there, his friends are there. He's content. He's obviously had a very successful team in camp behind him, so no need to change.
He does enjoy coming to America, though. Said he'd perhaps like to come and stay here one day.
Good job at Cavallari, really mixing in those punch and body kicks and low kicks.
Cavallari from Brazil said he broke a lot of mirrors growing up, shadow boxing in front of them. Sometimes he'd let his hands go and break the glass. He'd love to break the jaw of Vahitov tonight. If he can connect with one of those powerful right hands, he might do it.
Both guys doing a good job at defending the head punches. A lot of low kicks being landed, though.
Cavallari nodding his head. Look, running straight at Vahitov. Let's look at the current light heavyweight standings right now. And, of course, Vahitov at the very tip top. He's the champion, defending his title tonight for the second time. And we know if he wins tonight, he will be facing another Brazilian, Ariel Machado, who's now number 2 right now.
Yeah, Ariel Machado's moving up. And it still just shows how talented this light heavyweight division is. And, these rankings can easily change any time. And we see Zenedine Hammerlane move down a little bit. But everybody wants that belt that Vahitov has around his waist.
Round 2 of a scheduled 5, the light heavyweight championship. Vahitov, a big hockey fan last night, went and cheered on the Chicago Blackhawks in their win over the Phoenix Coyotes. He's a very laid-back individual, has a nice sense of humor. Not the killer that he is in the ring, that's for sure. Nice body work there from Machado.
You can see now Vahitov doesn't really, well, he wasn't standing there. He was using a little bit more movement, where I think that's his greatest success is don't be a standing target. That's where Cavallari is doing a good job at using his boxing and low kicks. Keep moving on the outside, Vahitov.
A couple of knees now for Cavallari, who's been closing the distance. Cavallari, the former light heavyweight champion, lost his belt to Vahitov. He's had one fight since then. A victory for Brian Dallas tonight back in. Oh, and he got caught! And just like that, he goes down.
4,
a stunner.
5, 6, 7, 8. Come to me. Are you okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Fight!
Let's see how much damage that shot did.
Vahitov firing bombs now. He thinks he's got Machado in trouble. Might have been a glancing blow, though.
Looked a little bit more like a flash, but Cavallari's coming back with combinations of his own.
Oh, and again! What power from the Russian! A right hook, or rather a right cross.
5.
Remember,
6,
3 knockdowns
7,
in a round,
8.
and it's
Come
over.
To me. Are you okay? Do you want to fight?
Yes,
fight.
A minute 20 to go, and Cavallari comes out running.
Let's see what Vahitov's going to throw. He's probably going to wait to throw that right hand again. Smart move at being very patient.
Vahitov, what a performance if he can polish this thing off in round 2. Machado's got to be careful. Keep those hands up. You look at Vahitov, he doesn't look like he'd be that powerful, especially compared to Machado's body frame, but that couldn't be further from the truth.
Well, you got to see how slick and how precise the striking of Vahitov, and that's what makes it very dangerous. He throws with such good precision, and he just landed a laser left hook to the liver.
Oh, and a big left, and another one. Machado, if he goes down, it's over. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cavallari.
Excuse me. Cavallari, not Machado, but it's Artem Vahitov who retains his light heavyweight championship.
That last finish of punches was crazy as you saw Vahitov switch stances into a southpaw and throw some really big looping punches that ended this fight and caused that third knockdown in the round.
The best performance of his career. We mentioned he's getting better and better, Joe. How much better can he get, though?
That was just super impressive, and what impresses me is how precise his striking is. So let's take a look at some of these knockdowns, and this is the first one. It was that right hand. He set it up with high kick. Let's take another angle. It was a right high kick, and then just slipped over the counter punch of Cavallari and landed that beautiful right hand. Here's the second one where he just came over. It's that right hand that's been doing the most damage in that fight, where it just shows the heart of Cavallari really trying to stay up. But this is when Vakhitov switched to southpaw and landed some good punches. Finally, where Chris Wagner had to step in and prevent Cavallari from taking any more damage.
We will make it official coming up next. Artem Vakhitov has done it again.
This flag isn't backwards. It's assaulting forward. Florida was a nation of independents who made the choice to make their lives and their families' lives better. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We carry on that tradition today. Fight on, break through, never quit. This flag isn't backwards. It's assaulting forward. We are front style, and this will prevail.
Knockout moves by Tupshed. The flying knee. Or overhand right. The spinning back fist.
25th, the world's elite kickboxers descend on Brussels for Glory 39. Yohan Kongolo is the first to step up to newly crowned welterweight champion Cedric Doumbé. Kongolo wants to make it 3-0 and take the belt from the cocky French star. Plus, Brazilian whirlwind Guto Innocent takes on Moroccan giant Jamal Big Ben Sadiq. And the featherweights fly in a contender tournament. It's Glory 39 Brussels, Saturday, March 25th. Don't miss it. We're back here in the Sears Center, Glory 38 Chicago. Our main event is over, and what a performance by the Russian, Joe.
Yeah, it was that second round. 3 brutal knockdowns for Vakhitov. Constant pressure, constant precision, and that was the third knockdown where referee Chris Wagner had to stop that fight. But it was ultimately that big right hand from Vakhitov that did the most damage in all 3 of the knockdowns. This is when Vakhitov, which really impressed me, switched to southpaw and threw big power punches and just threw all those punches in bunches before the referee had to step in, and still defended his title successfully for the second time.
Here's Tim Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout comes to an end when our referee Chris Wagner steps in to wave it off with an official time of 2 minutes and 43 seconds of that second round. This one ends by technical knockout for your winner and still Glory Light Heavyweight Champion of the World, Artem Vakhitov. Here with the belt, our Chief Executive Officer, John Franklin, joined by Mr. Eric Haycraft and Paul Carger.
Congratulations, what a performance. How does it feel to finally settle the score and defend your title for the second time?
I'm happy, I'm very happy. I want both more.
Well, we look forward to it. Now, you will fight Ariel Machado. What are your thoughts on him?
Machado, great fighter. great man. Скажи, я буду счастлив встретиться с ним.
I'm very glad with meeting with him. Very glad this fight has happened with Machado also.
This will be an amazing fight. Thank you so much, and congratulations again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your light heavyweight champion.
Thank you very much.
So it's Artem Vahitov versus Ariel Machado, and Joe handicapped that bout for us. We'll see that in a few months.
That was a great performance by both of these guys tonight, and it just shows again how impressive this light heavyweight division is and how constantly things can change.
Where's the real photographers at?
Artem Vahitov defends his title for the second time. He beat Zach Wikasa in France. He beats Cavallari tonight for the second time in Chicago. What's the ceiling for Vahitov right now?
Well, Vahitov just keeps getting better and better, and that's what makes him so impressive as a champion. And he's got to stay motivated as a champion because he has hungry young fighters like Machado wanted to take that belt from him.
So I just asked you this question, but who will, when these men do fight, Machado and Vahitov, what kind of stylistic matchup will that be?
Well, I think it's going to be a similar style like it was with Cavallari here, where Machado's going to really want to come in, use those power shots, but he's going to have to really avoid those sharp, clean laser point striking that Vahitov has shown in his last 3 fights in glory.
And not only that laser point striking, but he's getting knockouts. He entered today with a 17-5 record with only 6 wins by knockout, but he gets another KO tonight, and he's throwing with reckless abandon right now.
Yeah, he's just very good at striking and staying defensive, which makes him not only a good striker, but he's very hard to hit because he really understands distance. So it's going to be a tough fight for Machado, so let's see what he's going to bring in their fight.
So they'll be partying all night in Kubas, Russia, actually all morning. Over there in Kubas, Russia, Artem Vahitov, the light heavyweight champion of the world. He'll face Ariel Machado, who won the light heavyweight contender tournament earlier tonight by beating Zinedine Hammerlane in the final. Let's show you that second round between Vahitov and Saulo Cavallari in its entirety.
This is when we saw
Vahitov, a big hockey fan last night. Went and cheered on the Chicago Blackhawks in their win over the Phoenix Coyotes. He's a very laid-back individual, has a nice sense of humor. Not the killer that he is in the ring, that's for sure. Nice body work there from Machado.
You can see now Vahitov doesn't really, well, he wasn't standing there. He was using a little bit more movement, where I think that's his greatest success is don't be a standing target. That's where Cavallari is doing a good job at using his boxing and low kicks. Keep moving on the outside, Vahitov.
A couple of knees now for Cavallari, who's been closing the distance. Cavallari, the former light heavyweight champion, lost his belt to Vahitov. He's had 1 fight since then. A victory for Brian Dallas tonight back in. Oh, and he got caught! And just like that, he goes down.
4,
a stunner.
5, 6, 7. Hey, come to me. Are you okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Fight.
Let's see how much damage that shot did.
Vahitov firing bombs now. He thinks he's got Machado in trouble. Might have been a glancing blow, though.
Looked a little bit more like a flash, but Cavallari's coming back with combinations of his own.
Oh, and again! What power from the Russian! A right hook, or rather a right cross.
5.
Remember,
6,
3 knockdowns
7.
in a round, and it's
come
over.
To me. Are you okay? Do you want to fight?
Yes,
fight.
A minute 20 to go, and Cavallari comes out running.
Let's see what Vahitov's going to throw. He's probably going to wait to throw that right hand again. Smart move at being very patient.
Vahitov, what a performance if he can polish this thing off in round 2. Machado's got to be careful. Keep those hands up. You look at Vahitov, he doesn't look like he'd be that powerful, especially compared to Machado's body frame, but that couldn't be further from the truth.
Well, you got to see how slick and how precise the striking of Vahitov, and that's what makes it very dangerous. He throws with such good precision, and he just landed a laser left hook to the liver.
Oh, and a big left, and another one. Machado, if he goes down, it's over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cavallari, not Machado, but it's Artem Vahitov who retains his light heavyweight championship.
That last finish of punches was crazy, as you saw Vahitov switch stances into a southpaw and throw some really big looping punches that ended this fight and caused that third knockdown in the round.
The best performance of his career. We mentioned he's getting better and better, Joe. How much better can he get, though?
That was just super impressive, and what impresses me is how precise his striking is.
So that's the way it happened. Artem Vahitov defending his title for the second time. A knockout victory over Saulo Cavallari, who's never been stopped in his Glory career until tonight. Your final thoughts, Joe?
I just think that this light heavyweight division just keeps getting so impressive, and seeing young talent like Machado come in, win this tournament, it's just showing new talent being able to get to the top through the Contenders Tournament and having their chance at the champions.
So that's it for Glory 38 Chicago. We will see you next month in Brussels, Belgium for Glory 39. For Joseph Baltellini and Whitney Miller and the entire Glory crew, I'm Todd Grisham. That's it from the Windy City.
March 25th, the world's elite kickboxers descend on Brussels for Glory 39. Yohan Congolo is the first to step up to newly crowned welterweight champion Cedric Doumbé. Congolo wants to make it 3-0 and take the belt from the cocky French star. Plus, Brazilian whirlwind Guto Inocente takes on Moroccan giant Jamal Big Ben Sadiq. And the featherweights fly in a contender tournament. It's Glory 39 Brussels, Saturday, March 25th. Don't miss it.